Hello and welcome to Smitty's. I'm a woodcutting fanatic that loves to run a chainsaw. I run alcohol chainsaws, corded chainsaws, I race chainsaws, and I even run the occasional vintage one. Now remember, I cannot do this without you. You're everything to the channel, so please remember, subscribe, give that thumbs up, leave that comment.
Today, you're going to have a lot of fun. How you doing? Boy, do I got an action-packed video for today. We're going to basically run my 365 that I was building. It turned out to be a flop. Going to run the 372 eBay possible scam saw that we ended up having to throw a new top end on. It's running, it's good to go. We got test cuts on it. And at the end, I'm going to give you a little bonus. The ever so popular Shindawa 757. Borrowed one, we're going to run it. Now let me give you a quick rundown of what you're going to see here, because I'm even going to do a little giveaway. So the 365 special, I built the saw, I blew the saw up, so I did what I could to get the saw running again. By the time I got everything done to it that I had to in order to make it run again, it was basically way too much. The cylinder is toast. The saw had no power, didn't want to run. Basically all the plating peeled off, or half the plating peeled off halfway up to the combustion chamber. I said, heck with it. We're gonna start it anyway. We'll show a video of it running horribly. Needless to say, that's what we got going on there. I'm only gonna show you two cuts on it. The saw needs a complete tear down. So, you know, it sucked. The saw scrapped until I can go through and do a full rebuild on it. I think I'm going to tear that thing the whole way down. I do believe one of the bearings are toast. I took a chance whenever I put it together, hoping the bearing wasn't toast. It's toast. So we are going to end up tearing the whole saw down. But let's move on to the next thing. One of the things I want you to pay attention to is this chain. It is a 16-inch bar and chain on the 365. And I keep telling you a 365. Technically, it's a 372 that I put a 48 millimeter top end on, okay? Technically, that's what I should be saying, but I'm saying 365. Now, the 372 that I picked up from eBay, you know, the possible scam saw, it's running. We got the new top end on it. I did some additional work to it. I did throw a new set of seals in it. The first time I ran it, I didn't like the way it behaved. I was having trouble keeping it tuned. So I just went ahead and threw a new set of seals in it. Both sides, I didn't take any chances. But I did find an oil pump issue. The oil pump was working. It was not pumping enough oil. So I went ahead and threw the oil pump out of that 365 that I keep saying. I pulled that one out and put in this 372 clone here. So that brought the saw up to perfect running condition, and you're gonna get to see it running. Now, this is the same 16-inch bar and chain that was on the 365, but now you're gonna see it on this 372 clone. It is a big bore top end, remember? I am impressed with this saw, or I should say surprised at how well it ran. I think something about that combination of using the big bore with the base gasket delete just really helped bring the saw alive, but I did not have a before and after to show you, so we don't know for certain. Personally, I think it does run really well. Maybe somebody out there owns one and they can say, yes, it runs better, it doesn't, whatever. Maybe we can get a comment down there on it. But I am impressed with how well the saw does run. It is a clone. It is the Farmertech 372 Pro. It's their Pro version. It's white carbon fiber top. So we're going to get to see that sucker running. And I am surprised. But another thing I want you to pay attention to is this chain. This chain is one of my favorite types of grinds for like a 20-inch bar range. It has a lot of self-feed to it. It takes no effort from yourself. In fact, if you do start pushing on it, you will stuff out the saw. This chain is just right at that point, and as soon as you start pushing, it really tries to plow through the wood, and it just, you end up stuffing the saw. With this kind of sharpening, I can stuff anything that I've ever had my hands on. So whenever you see this thing running, just pay attention to that, because of how easily I can stuff out any saw with this chain. It is just that type of a chain that as soon as you start applying pressure, it tries to take a monster of a bite, and it just stuffs it. Some chains, you can pull all you want and they won't produce any more chips. Those, to me, I'm not a fan of that kind of a chain. I prefer a chain that as you pull on it, it's going to produce more and more and more chips. It's just the way I like them. Some people don't. Some people want the chain to cut the same, no matter what it's doing, pulling on it or whatever. Personally, it's not my style. But that's enough jabbering. I'm going to show you these two saws, and we got two more. I decided I'm going to throw two more at you, and I think you're going to love this other one, because we're going to do a timed cut. I'm going to show you a timed cut of this chain on the Bellhopper 372. Take a guess at how quick that Bellhopper saw can cut this piece of 16-inch oak. Right now, put the number in your head. How fast can the Bellhopper saw cut this piece of oak with this chain? Alrighty? You put that number in your head, and then after all this, I'm going to come in, we're going to talk a little more, and then I'll show you that time cut. Alrighty? Alrighty, you've been waiting for it, right? The Bellhopper 372 clone, a timed cut through this piece of 16-inch oak. Do you have a number in your head of how fast that saw will go through this piece of wood? The funny thing is, the saw loses a lot of its RPM with this chain. The chain just pulls so much out of your high RPM range, it pulls down to a lower number. And we did one time cut already, and we noticed that a chain with 300 less RPM ran faster. This is part of one of my experiments, is can I get the chain, even though it pulls the RPM lower, will it cut faster than a chain that runs a higher RPM? And this is one of those chains. I am going to give this chain away. I'm sending it out in 2 days. So from the day I'm recording this, I'm mailing it out in 2 days. So somebody out there is going to receive this chain, and they're going to get to test it, and they're going to get to run it, and they're going to get to tell all of us how they feel about it. We are looking for a complete 100% honest opinion, correct? The chain always, and everything I've ever ran it on, always pulled the saw out of the high RPM spectrum, but it makes a fast cut. The problem is, I do not know if it is really faster. I've never timed it against anything else. So this chain is experimental, and we are going to send it out and let somebody else try it out. See what he thinks. I guarantee you the first mistake he's going to make is to try to push a saw through the wood, because this chain will stall your saw. It stalls everything I put it on. So it's going to be funny to watch and see if he does that. Because as soon as you start putting some torque on it, she's going to stall out. The chain is just that hungry. I'm telling you, the day I figured out how to make a chain eat a lot more wood without making it full of chatter, it just changed everything for me. It did. And it opened up my mind to a whole new realm of possibilities, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's take a look at this time cut, and then we'll jump right in to the 757 Shindawa, little bonus footage. Now, I know the saw has a muffler mod. I don't know if it has anything else done to it, but otherwise the saw is on loan, and we're gonna check it out right now. Alrighty. Hey, just a quick mention for you. I do have memberships on the channel. You do not have to do memberships if you don't want to. It is there, it is available. I've chose the cheapest option. I believe it is about $1. I do not do member-only content. It is there, it's voluntary only. It's just a way for you to help the channel if you wish to do so. Feel free to join up. You don't have to. Again, I just want to make sure you're aware that it is there and it is available. Alrighty, just take a look down there below the video. You'll see all the buttons. It's sitting there. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet or hit that thumbs up or anything like that, I hope you do. Don't forget about that comment section too. Alrighty. right, a good action-packed video for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. A lot about chain, a chain that can eat a lot of wood. I love that chain on hardwood. I just love it. It feels like butter going through the wood. It does. But you can tell, you know, it might feel like butter going through the wood, but you can tell that chain eating. You know what I mean? You can tell it's eating. That little bar on that 372 clone with the big felling spikes wasn't the best combination. You know what I mean? The bar's a little short for that saw, but that bar and chain was technically meant for my 365, or my, should I say, my 48 millimeter build. Perfect size for that saw in a racing type of situation. So yeah, we're sending it out. We're gonna give it away and see what this guy's opinion is. He doesn't even know it's coming. So it's gonna be a surprise, I guess. It's just gonna show up one day. So he might actually receive that chain the day this video comes out or the day after. So it'll be surprise. You know what I mean? But anyway, hey, I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.